multiple-time Pro Bowler. Sometimes an antagonist, but sometimes he is right. By the way, so Brett Favre, there was a rumor out. Joy Taylor and I said it looked like a headline from The Onion that he's going to coach the Packers or he would be intrigued by it. Okay, you know him very, very well. Give me a quality that would work with him and a quality that wouldn't work as a coach for Brett Favre in the NFL.
A quality that I think would work is his detail. And a lot of people never really saw Brett Favre as a detailed guy because of how he played the game. But as far as his study habits, his work ethic, the way he prepared going into the games, that would work. He would have you tremendously prepared for every situation, specifically at the quarterback and on the offensive side of the ball. But what wouldn't work well is how he played the game, because anytime you've played the game and you were smart, you were instinctive, but you allowed your athletic ability and your talent to take over once you stepped foot on the turf, that's what a lot of quarterbacks struggle with. You look at Alex Smith, who has tremendous talent, one of the most athletic quarterbacks that we've seen play the game,
but won't let it rip.
But will not let it go.
Kirk Cousins saying
that would eat Brett alive, because when you've been able to do it, you're going to defer to who you were and who you are, and that will drive him crazy.
It's funny, when you were in the huddle with Brett Favre, take my audience into that huddle. What was he like in the huddle?
Oh, he was great. He was great. He was the number one, just instinctive, spontaneous quarterback that I've ever been in the huddle with. And he always wanted a safety valve, meaning if the play call was one thing, he would make sure he would say something like, "Hey, Greg, give me this on this route." Completely different than what you're supposed to be running, but he knew, just in case they show me a look that I may have seen on tape. Take you back, Thursday Night Football, we're playing against the Minnesota Vikings Thursday night in Lambeau, and it's a close game, really close game, and we have all go. That means I'm running a 9 route, straight go. He tells me, it's hitch. He tells me, "Greg, just go. Run a 9 route." We break the huddle. I line up, and he throws the hitch, gets pick 6. The Vikings are up. Now, I look back, because this is my second year in the league, so all the commentators, broadcasters, everyone, I'm thinking this as I'm going to say, everyone's going to think that's my fault. But Brett told me to just go. And so I get to the sideline, and my coach is, "What are you doing?" Man, you got to ask Brett. Talk to Brett. And one thing I loved about Brett, he would own it. That was on me. I told him to go. Now, when you were on the field, he wasn't going to show that he did it, but he would own it when we were on the sideline.
By the way, Aaron has a little ad-lib quality, but he was different in the huddle. Mm-hmm. Aaron was different in the huddle.
He was different in the huddle in the sense he was going to stick with what was happening. He was going to ask you more than I feel like Brett did. What are you seeing? So that then he could implement that later on, or the next play or the next series. Like, how are they playing you? He was always trying to figure out what are they doing versus what he's seeing when the pictures came back. Like, what are you seeing and how do you feel and what do you think you can get? That was more Aaron. He was more calculated. He never really just told you to do something, although he will do that, but he's going to wait to assess the situation and make sure it'll work.
So tonight, Chargers-Chiefs. Kansas City owns the Chargers. Andy Reid's won 9 straight. Did you ever have a team? Does that play in your head psychologically? Was there a team that you struggled with through the years and you often felt you had a better team?
No, not really. I just, when it comes to teams having this history over you of winning and you losing, if you haven't been a part of all of that, it means nothing. It means absolutely. The LA Chargers going into this game, going into Arrowhead, the only person who's really experienced all 9 of those losses is their quarterback, Phillip Rivers. Everyone else has been a part of some, maybe 1 this year or 2 or 3, but not all of them like Phillip Rivers. So he's playing at a supreme high level right now. His team has extreme confidence going into this game. So why would we care what happened last year, the year before, or the previous 9 times we've met with these guys? We feel like we can beat them. So that's out the window.
You know, I saw a story yesterday where Warren Moon came out, and Warren Moon, people may not realize this, played till he was 44. Mm-hmm. Warren Moon, he was the first quarterback that I kind of fell in love with as a kid because he played for my local school, the University of Washington. And I've said this before, if you go to YouTube and you look at Warren Moon's college video and he was available today, he would be the best number 1 pick since Andrew Luck. 6'5", mobile, and a cannon for an arm. He was a rare prospect, but because of race and a lot of issues, he had to go to Canada. And by the way, and was the greatest player in the history of CFL. Then he came here as one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. So, I mean, he's just an unbelievable talent. And he played till he was 44. And he said yesterday, he said, Tom's deteriorating. He said he doesn't slide quite as well. He said there's some deterioration coming. Starts with losing your reflexes. You know, your mind knows where you should be going. Your body doesn't react. I see some of that with him. It's going to continue. You're going to see Tom decline. I see a little bit of it because I watch every New England game. Do you?
I see a little bit of it. I don't agree with everything that Warren Moon said. I respect his opinion. But here's the difference for me in the decline of a guy like Tom Brady. He starts in the stratosphere. And so when we start to see other quarterbacks elevate their level of play and he's not elevating his to that magnitude because he's always been so far in front, we start to see them go up more than we see him come down. And so we start to see them neck and neck, if you will. And for me, when I look at his numbers, everybody's talking about his numbers are declining. He's right on pace to do what he's always done.
You know, Kurt Schilling, the baseball pitcher, once told me this. He said, listen, my last 3 years, I was very good in the postseason. He said, because I had about 12 fastballs a game. You know, when I was young, I could throw 42. I just literally just popped my arm. It didn't matter. Brady in Foxborough, all I need from him is that 6-for-6 drive in the 4th. He didn't have to be a superstar. So when I look at this, I think to myself, here's what I know of the quarterbacks in the AFC. Big Ben has no running game. Mahomes has never been in this spot. Andrew Luck doesn't have the team. Deshaun Watson's good, but they're still keeping him in the 20 to 22 throws a game area. As we head into December and January, I look at Tom and I think maybe there's decline. I still think he's the guy in the AFC I'd want with 2:30 to go.
Of course, especially within that division, he is the guy. But when you let's look at the National Basketball Association. Okay. You look at LeBron James.
Yeah.
What the Lakers are doing with him. They're trying to cut back his minutes, trying to make sure that he's available when it matters. Late in the season.
6.5 minutes to go.
Yes, and when it counts, when the game is on the line, we feel like we have enough talent and we're coached well enough to where we can stay tight and then ask him to finish.
Yeah.
That is what the New England Patriots have always been able to do. Defense has never stood out and just been stifling, but they're going to be in the game when it matters. If they get the ball last, you're on pins and needles because you're afraid of what Tom has always proven he can do.
Yeah. It really, LeBron, that's a good comparison because with Brady, I still come down to if you said to yourself, final drive AFC, I would take Brady. Mm-hmm. Ben, I don't trust.
Nope.
Watson's still a little green. Mahomes would make a no-look pass, and it would end up in a cornerback's hands.
See,
I'm not into that.
You're losing me with the Mahomes thing.
No-look pass. I like my quarterbacks that look.
Yeah, and he does look, but he's good enough to where sometimes...
When I do this show, I don't look over here. I look at the camera. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.